신세계 질서 그리고 그의 기원과 발전. So it is meaning to have the new world governments that may be established soon in our world as we're looking into the pandemic which is called coronavirus 2019. So this is a very good window to us to understand, to see the last day scenario, because so many things taking place in our eyes. So many things are really visible, obvious, very evident, very, very clear to us. So if you have the little eyes, if you have the little wisdom in your spirit, you can understand what's going on. Because two things you can see: the dark side will be darkened more, the bright side will be brightened more. So therefore, I believe because of the COVID-19, we are able to have the understanding of the work of Satan at the same time the work of the Lord. So let me begin this, today's scripture reading, Daniel chapter 9, 25 to 26. Know and understand this from the time the word goes out to restore and reveal Jerusalem until the anointed one, the ruler, comes. There will be 7 sevens and 62 sevens. It will be revealed with streets and trench, but in times of trouble. So the second verse, after 62 sevens, the anointed one will be put to death and will have nothing. So the people of the Lord, this is indicating not the anointed Messiah, but this is actually indicating the Antichrist. The people of the Lord who will come will destroy and the city and sanctuary, and the end will come like a flood. War will continue until the end, and desolation have been decreed. This is the beautiful and amazing and very evidence for everyone for seeing this world of the COVID-19 era, as a beginning of the last days. Daniel 9:27. It doesn't mean the Messiah, but the he means here today is the Antichrist. He will confirm a covenant with many for 1 7. And in the middle of the 7, he will put an end to the sacrifice and an offering. And at that temple, he will set up an abomination that causes desolation until the end that is decreed is poured out on him. This amazing one, if I want to show you that from the eternity means the Olam Haba to Olam Haba. This is the Bible total meta narrative. The beginning from the creation to the reign of the Messiah is Olam Haba to Olam Haba. So some of you may understand that what I'm saying in the book of Psalms, like forever and ever, means Olam Haba Haba. So that means from the Messiah's reign to the Messiah reign again. But we have lost God's reign after the fall in Garden of Eden. So therefore, there is no Olam Haba. Means there is no eternity. Our life is limited, and we are not infinite. We are finite. And then, the many things we have, the sin makes us our mortality limited, and our life limited. Our lifespan is limited. Everything, the wisdom and knowledge and information what we have are limited. So from the fall in the Garden of Eden, everyone longing back to the life in the eternity before the fall when they experience in the Garden of Eden. That's the eternity. And God revealed His will to redeem the world in order to send His Messiah, this anointed one. So therefore, the Bible story is actually works around the eyes of the Messiah, because every sinner cannot be saved. Every sinner cannot be redeemed unless the Messiah comes. So therefore, the Old Testament is prophesied about the coming of the Messiah. So we call it actually Mosaic law and Davidic law, and these are the indicating the Messiah will come. And then after the fall of the Jerusalem, Daniel indicates that the Messiah will come and redeem the whole humanity. So the first one is actually 77. 77 means in Korean, 71. It means 70 times 7. So 77 means 1 means 7.
Dr. Kim, you're not sharing to the Zoom right now.
Okay.
Yeah. Because the
Oh, sorry.
you didn't share in the Zoom.
So can I go back to, this one? No. Yes, this one. I'm sorry, I think that I didn't show the my PowerPoint. I do apologize for my mistake. I'm sorry. Okay.
Slideshow?
Yeah, so, okay, thank you.
And then let me just move this.
Thank you so much. Yes. So I think I'm sorry that many of you watching on your computer or mobile or iPhone, perhaps you may not able to see it, but from now on you can see it. Thank you so much. So the eternity means in Hebrew is olam haba. Very easy. Olam haba means just now. When there is no Messiah, this is not now. When there is no redemption or salvation, this is now. What does it mean now? Olam hazeh. So what is the right translation of olam hazeh? Also, olam hazeh is now. Olam haba, olam hazeh, both now. But difference between olam haba and olam hazeh is there, the Messiah's reign. If the Messiah reign, there is the time of God. That's olam haba. But if there is no reign of the Lord in our time, that's olam hazeh. What does it mean now? We are still waiting. We are still waiting on the coming of the Messiah. That's our now means we are still waiting. So when Jesus actually shared this beautiful message in the Aramaic words in the New Testament, he said to the woman from Samaria, and now is the time worship. That's olam haba. Because Messiah is with you. Others doesn't feel that the time of God. So the eternity means, when we live together with God, that's eternity. When we don't live with God, actually in the hell, that's a forever. But we don't say eternity. Because there is no reign of God in hell. Therefore, we say that's the waiting on the coming of the Messiah. So the still same now, one is for waiting on the Lord, the other is we are living in the time of the Lord. So from the eternity to eternity, there is time range, actually 77, according to the prophecy of Daniel. The first one is 77, and the second one is 627, the last one is 17. The total is 77. So here, the first one, the beginning from the rebuilding Jerusalem from the decree of Artaxerxes, this is actually beginning from 77. So and after that, the city revealed, as we know, this is 69 times 7. That's 483 years passed and Jesus Christ came. And after that, there is so-called waiting on the Lord, coming of Messiah. So that's the 1-7. Which is called the 7-year tribulation will occur. Before the coming of the 7-year tribulation, God is going to give the signs and wonders in order for us to prepare for his coming. As I'm looking into the COVID-19, and I've been praying the Lord, what's going on? And then, the same things that we can understand, like the 68 to 70, when the General Titus is about to attack and invade the city of Jerusalem, what happened? The whole world changed. Why? Messiah passed, and he ascended to heaven. And then what happened? He prophesied that when you're looking on the Holy Mount, the city will be desolated. And then you would know that you would not see me in the name of the Hosanna, in the name of the Messiah. Till then, the time of Gentile will come. So this is the time of the Gentile. But the time of Gentile will be end. And then there will be time of Messiah about to come. That's just right before the 7-year tribulation. So if you're looking at the old signs and wonders in heaven and on earth, you'd know that what's going on in our world. COVID-19 gives a lot of clues, a lot of ideas what we can see before the coming of the Lord second time. So if you take a look on this, so here, the first one, we are waiting on the Lord for 1-7, that means 7-year tribulation. And then there are a lot of signs and wonders are taking place in our world before we are able to have the assurance of his coming. So if you take a look, the 7-year tribulation, the first one, as I look and read for you the Daniel chapter 9:27, the people of the ruler, who is called the Prince of Peace. He is called the Antichrist, will come. He will make a covenant of peace. And he will set up the world government, which is called New World Order. Why do we call the coronavirus 19 as COVID-19 era? The world is not the same as like the before. The whole world, even though there is no war, if there is no any riot, there is no any kind of demonstration taking place in the city, in the locality, yet the whole school closed, the storefront closed, and then every transportation closed, and even borderline closed in the peacetime. We're coming into certain era in the peacetime, not in wartime. It's an amazing thing happening and revealing the satanic scheme at the same time, the revelation of the Lord. So as you're looking into the 7-year tribulation, the Antichrist will come in and make a covenant in the name of peace, and he represents as a Prince of Peace. And then he is going to make beautiful covenants with the people of Israel in the city of Jerusalem. And he will set up the holy mount, the temple and sanctuary. And then he is going to make the world feast, and the world will under his leadership in the name of peace. And in the middle of the 7 years, means the first half and the second half is in the middle of the first half. What happened is actually breaking the peace treaty with the people of Israel. Then he is going to persecute the Jewish remnants. Then the second half of 7-year tribulation will take place. Then this entire scenario of the 7-year tribulation will actually accelerating the second coming of Christ to the earth, not from the air. So this 7-year tribulation is very amazing. And I believe that before the 7-year tribulation, we'll be raptured on the air and have the bridal banquet with the Christ. And after that, we are going to have the millennial kingdom with the Lord Jesus Christ. We are going to reign in the world. Then we are going to eternity, which is called New City of Jerusalem, New heavens and new earth. So 2 Peter 3, verse 10 and 13. But the day of the Lord will come as thief in the night, in which the heavens shall pass away with a great noise, and the elements shall melt with a fervent heart. The earth also, the works that are therein, shall be burned up. Then it says that, nevertheless we, according to his promise, look for new heavens and a new earth, wherein dwelled righteousness. So the COVID-19 end-time lecture series, as I have just 5 lectures in the previous weeks. The first one that I share with you was actually the biblical assessment. How do we perceive the COVID-19? The first question is COVID-19 the judgment of God? Is COVID-19 the judgment of God? If you have any answer in your heart, you can type right on the chat room or just give your opinion. But in my first lecture, the COVID-19, coronavirus 2019, is not the judgment. Obviously, according to the biblical assessment, it is the warning sign right before the judgment of the Lord. But it is not one of many pandemic. It is not one of the many epidemics. It is not one of many pestilence and the epidemics, because we have 3 greatest pandemic in history in 2,000 years. But this is the greater than the past. Of course, in the Middle Ages, 37 million people died out by the black disease. However, this coronavirus is different from the previous one. So I just assess that this is the judgment of God. It's not assessed, but this judgment of God is ahead right before he gives the warning sign. Second one, so discerning this age. This age, right before here, this age means Olam Hazeh. So we are the time the people are waiting on the Lord. The physical and spiritual reign of Christ in our world. That's Olam Haba. So we are reigning. We are not reigning. We are waiting on the Lord for his second coming. So discerning this time, so is this the end time, or are we still waiting for the end time? I think this is a very important one. And I think we have to study more. But if you say that nearness and closeness to the time of the Lord, just right before the 7-year tribulation, I would say in the time of the clock. If you know the 24 hours, so otherwise 12 hours, probably 12 o'clock, the Christ will come. So our whole world, from the beginning of the Messiah, the Lord Jesus Christ, in the city of Jerusalem, and 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, and then probably 2020, April, probably coming into 11:55, 11:56. We have left only 3 minutes, 4 minutes more. I feel like that close much. The coming of the Lord is very near. So very near. Why? Because everything that I share is about the biblical reference. The biblical reference. I said the swamp of locusts. I said about rumors of war in the wars and conflict and the all kind of riots and we say the natural disasters like the volcano eruptions, earthquakes, and the tsunami. And I would say the pestilence and epidemics, and then I would say it also engulfed in many numbers of the death toll. Therefore, we are very near, we are very close to the coming of the Lord. So our time today, a month, is not like a year in the 100 years ago. Our time a day cannot be comparable a month in 1900. Perhaps our 1 hour prayer today is not comparable 1,000 years in the past. It is very important for us. So we have to have whistleblower to give the whistle, to warn to the world, rise up and get up and pray. I would say that the people in the world, the people around the church, the people who are listening to the Lord and a message and know that the time is near. Because if you stay home, if you're just living in a home, but this is the sign that God is going to giving you, that this time you do much better than ever before, even in accumulating of the 2,000 years history. In the last minute, in the last second, what you can do will greater than anything in the past. I believe this is the time that we have to get up and rise up. And some of you think that, do you have any kind of evidence and proofs that you are seeing the whole world is changing and shifting? And I share a lot of the real story. It's not about any kind of conspiracy or any kind of, the gossips or, some of the presuppositions, assumptions, hypotheses. But I would say that the reality of the world coming from United Nations and others. One of the things you could see is back in 1992, in Rio de Janeiro in Brazil, the Agenda 21, it's actually the beginning of the visible scenario and project that is actually executed by the United Nations. Agenda 21, every corner of your life, the health system, the educational system. You live out by the transportation, border, and aircraft and others. All these are designed and planned by the United Nations. What you have, the whole world healthcare system, we call World Health Organization, WHO. If you know also others, UNESCO. If you know the all kind of ones, so Sustainable Development Project coming out of the United Nations Agenda 21, everything is well designed. Everything is well disciplined. Everything is well masterminded. United Nations program and depopulation is one of the branch. Yet, we have so many others. You can see the stem and root, how some of the people who want to take this initiative against the kingdom of the Lord. So that's the third session that I shared. And then the first session that I shared, I think 2 weeks before, was the New World Order. In Korean words, the 신세계 질서. So this is from the Bible, the book of Daniel chapter 9. The guy who is called the Prince of Peace, the people of the ruler, will make a covenant with the people in Israel. And he will declare the whole world will be in peace. And he's going to make, in the name of peace and world government, which is called new. It's not old, new world order. And as I shared these sessions 2 weeks before, I said this is not a new idea. It was masterminded, it was designed several hundred years ago. Rooted even before the 3,500 years before. And I shared with that, this is the idea of the King Solomon and the king, the Hiram, and even the roots of the Babylonian Egyptian kings and monarchy. So New World Order is not a new idea, actually. This is a satanic scheme. And so therefore, I had a little, the ideas how the idea of the elite Jewish people want to have the world dominance according to their, vengeance against the Christian kingdom, so-called Christendom. That's the protocol of the Lord Elders of Zion. In Korean words, 시온의정서. So the many people say that the protocol of the Lord Elders of Zion is actually man-made, or some is actually saying that this is not genuine, of course. But however, this idea is executing even today. Even it's obviously seen in our every corner of the streets. No one can deny existence of this plan. Therefore, the secret societies such as Illuminati, the Freemason, Trilateral Commission, and the Club 300s, Council on Foreign Relations, Bohemian groups, there's so many secret society actually governing each country and society around the world. And that was the last week that I shared. Today, I'm going to giving you the New World Order in the eyes of the COVID-19 to see how everything are deeply connected into a way of life in our society and family and country. The secret society for the New World Order are many. The first one, the Templar Knights, and many of you know the Templar Knights. I've been searching and examining the Templar Knights, and one of the cases that I can see in the Lebanon, Syria, Turkey, Malta, Cyprus, and the southern part of Italy. Oh, there are millions of evidences. This is not a conspiracy. This is real existence. What they build up, even in the land of Lebanon, they build one of the strongest strongholds, Templar Knights. But their secret knowledge, their secret information. The last week I said, why is it called secret? Because this is not common. This is not actually, exposed in public. So not many people. Maybe if you were born 100 years ago, you don't recognize the existence of them. Because many of them are hidden. But just recently, their secrecy is now exposed. The Guild of Masons later on developed into the Freemason, and then it says the Illuminati is the world government order, and they are the elite of society for the New World Order and United Nations and others. The Protocol of the London Elders of Zion, the Council on Foreign Relations, they are the only 500 elite people, all the President of the United States coming out of this. And then the even king and kings. There are a lot of rulers coming out of this, we call the Council on Foreign Relations. The Bilderberg meetings, mostly these are the elite ones, the bankers, world rulers, and the monarchists and others, and the Trilateral Commissions, the Korean audience, the Samhyaphoe. And so here, the Bohemian Grove, this is the one of the things that they do always in the West Coast. The many kings and queens and the president and the Muslim leaders coming to the California and West Coast, and they have sacred ritual ceremony, and they celebrate the worshiping of Lucifer. So this is one of the one that I mentioned, the Protocol of the London Elders of the Zion. This is the first one I actually published in the Patriot Publish Company. So in this total scenario, it's actually Jewish people were continually persecuted by the Christendom, by the Christian people in Europe. So they want to revenge. They want to upside down the whole governments. So how do? They want to accelerate the dominance of the Jewish people. So the masses, the most of Jewish people don't know. Except few, the handful people understand. Not many Jewish people understand, only few. These are the ones, very few have this knowledge, and also they are accessible to the knowledge. And this, super dominance, superpower, or otherwise the superiority of Jewish elite in the whole world in order to establish New World Order by one world government, one economy, and one united religion. No other religion, one religion. Now we're coming into two things, the government and economy. Next week, I'm going to deal with the world united religion. And this is true story. Nowadays, Boston is 100% evidence how united religious movements is actually in acting. And we have millions and millions of evidences about this. So, as we go into New World Order, I hope you understand that the engine power of right wing, the engine power of the Illuminati is the Jesuit. We call Black Templar Knights. The Jesuits are very famous. They actually pretend in the name of good education like Boston College. They have very beautiful, beautiful charity organizations such as the orphanage and elderly house. And they have very beautiful humanitarian aids like the famine relief system. They have also the vaccination, the research lab, and others. But behind all this propagation, they are the one targeting and give the assassination. They are the one always creating so-called the sexual seduction to the Christian ministers in all of the world. And they are the one destroy the denomination and evangelical churches. And they are the one also continually seduce and allure a lot of the evangelical leaders to be joined with the Vatican, so-called the Catholic Church. I can say this one, probably thousands and thousands about it. And many of you remember that Muslim Brotherhood. Some of you think that Islam is actually turning against the Christianity. Of course, when it comes to New World Order, Islam is always working side by side. This is a secret. And then the another one is actually Zionist State of Israel. Nowadays you see the Israeli government and the propagandists of the New World Order. They are very secretly, closely collaborating one another in order to establish New World Order. And also Dalai Lama is a secret agent from this New World Order. And also a lot of the Buddhist countries working together. And here, New World Order is actually creating the dominant power of the world economy. That's the economy first. So, brethren, because of COVID-19, you would see the denomination revolution we call redenomination. Redenominationalization may take soon because the American dollar, European euro will not anymore in effect. I can tell you, it's very close. The whole world right now, the currency revolution is about to take place. So this is one of the things we have to know, what Satan is at work right now in order to turn and shift and change the world system under the name of his peace. So world dominant power of the politics, the governments of the countries, and the dominant power of the world religion. These three are the strongest power and the works of the satanic schemes in the name of Illuminati, Freemason, and others. So on the right hand, if you see that, they want to create a new world economy. They want to create a new world government. They want to create a new world religion. If you combine the trilateral, tripart style, three tripart legs, and if you see that, one stand, which is called New World Order. They want to unite the religion. They want to unite the nations and kingdom. They want to unify the old economy and trades and bankings and currency. It is called the New World Economy. It's about to happen. It's about to happen. Watch out. So if you have the $1 note in your pocket, many of you know the $1 note, this is the evidence. This is not conspiracy. So what does it say, the $1 bill on the top of the left side? This is the unknown Coptics. Is it conspiracy? Or is it just theory? No, this is a reality. We have $1 bill, $50 bill, every dollar note. There are 100% Freemason design and Illuminati ideas, deeply seeping into the denomination note. And down below, Novus Ordo Seclorum. Even this word is not one, new one. This new order of the world, New World Order. Novus means Latin new, orders order, seclorum is olam haba olam haba, this country, this world. So that world, the New World Order. In the beginning of the United Nations independence in 1776, the later on, the federal government created the dollar bills. They designed by the Freemasonry idea. The Freemasons deeply joining 2 out of 5, the one who made the charters of the constituency of the 13th colony are Freemason, and also the one who worked together to originally make the Constitution is also Freemason. The first president, second president, third president, probably more than 50% the president of the United States are Freemason. And then, there are a lot of evidences they work together with the idea of the Freemasons in this country. Okay, let me give you a little idea. I don't want to give you conspiracy. I want to just show you the reality. I don't want to give you any gossip or somebody says, but I want to show you the reality. From the $1 notes, the Annuit Coptis. This Annuit Coptis is one of the two models on the reverse side, and actually flip side of the Great Seal of the United States. This is actually seal. What is a seal? The government sealed it. When they make the diplomatic contracts, in some cases the treaties and important decrees and law, they just sealed it. This is seal. So when they seal it, they carve the name. The first one is the Annuit Captives, and the second model is Novus Ordo Seclorum, that I said, the New World Order. And the front side of the Great Seal is the Elluribus unum. Elluribus unum is the united one. Out of many. Out of many. We are many, but many will be united. So it's already a big idea there. It's going to be united. It's going to be actually a new world order. It's going to be the annui coeptis. What is the annui coeptis? So let me give you the taken from the Latin word annuo means actually to approve. Or otherwise, coeptum plurum coepta, the commencement. Otherwise, the undertaking, it is translated, the providence favor our undertakings. Otherwise, the providence has favored our undertaking. So this is the one on the Great Seal of the United States of America. You know, the first one designed by Freemason was we call Deo Pavente. Caroline, do you know that the meaning of the Deo Pavente? Or John Lathrop? No. Yeah, this is the actual Latin words. Italian understand very easily. Do you know the perennis? Perennis is eternity. Deo means God. Pavente. So this one is, you know, Italians and Latin very close. Thank God for that, you know, the Latin roots to the European civilization. So let me give you a little idea about this, you know, in the United States of America, how they, you know, sift and design and gave idea of the Freemason and Illuminati DNA. In 1782, the same Adams from Boston appointed design artist William Barton of the Philadelphia to bring a proposal for the nation seal. So for the reverse, the Barton suggests 13 layers. 13 layers means 13 colonies in the eastern seaboard in the United States in the beginning of the independence. So the 13 layers of pyramid underneath of the eyes of providence. See, eyes of providence, while I said that anut coeptis means all-seeing eyes. All-seeing eyes is from the Egyptian god, is seeing from the pyramid to everyone between this world and the world to come. From this world and the life after. So it means the afterlife. So the models which Barton closely accompanied the design were Deo Favente. Deo Favente means favor. So favor of God. Deo means God. Favor of God or God's favor. Or more literally, with God's favoring. And so perennis is everlasting or eternity. Therefore means here, in the beginning of the American cell, the Freemason made idea of the satanic kingdom. The first one, what? You know, God's favor. This God is not God of the Bible. And probably 99.9999% in the whole world we're surprised. This God is not the God of the Bible. This God is not the God in whom the many Christians confess every daily life. The God in reference in this, the American seal making, is actually not God from the Bible. So the pyramid and perennis, the model had come from the $50 bill, the continental currency bill designed by Francis Hopkinson. President Francis Hopkinson, also the Freemason. You know, the same Adams from all of them, the Freemason. They designed, they structured, they organized the government, they masterminded, they created all the Freemason system in the United States. From the beginning in Boston until now. So some of you are wondering, oh, Elijah, you've been speaking that the revival is during the fast that they had taken place in Boston many times, and are you denying the all over the work of the Lord? Yes, I'm not denying, but I am saying that God at work, because in the midst of darkness, in the midst of the sinfulness, a revival occurred in this land. Same thing, if you are awakened, if you are truly illuminated by the work of the Holy Spirit today, and you know what Satan is trying to do, and we can stop, otherwise we can win many souls, as many as for the Christ's sake. So annui coeptics is the one that favor the Lord of providence, God's favor. It's actually when designing the final version of the Great Seal, the Charles Thompson, the former Latin teacher, the capped pyramid, then I. For the reverse side, but refers to tomorrows. That's using analytic coefficients instead of Deo Pavente. Deo Pavente means novus ordo secularum instead of Paternus. Deo Pavente, favor of God, favor of Lucifer, favor of Satan, the favor of devil. When he provides his official explanation of the meaning of this model, he wrote, this is not from me, this is from his own writing. The eye over, in the pyramid, in the $1 notes, the eye over the pyramid and the model, the analytic coefficients allude, please, allude to the many signal interpositions of the providence in the favor of the American cause. So here on the left-hand side, the Freemason, this is Swedish version, but in all of the world, United Kingdom, Netherlands, and Germany, France, and Italy, and Spain, and in New Zealand, and Australia, and Canada, the many countries around the world have same system. The one all-seeing eyes on the top of the pyramids and the 13 layer. But actually, United States, we have 13 layers because we begin by the 13, states. And then, if you see the all-seeing eye, Anuya coeptives, and then, you are able to see the Freemasons who designed the city, who designed the government, who designed the education, who designed the economy, who designed the trade, who designed the land geography, who designed the oil transportation. Philadelphia, Seattle, Chicago, New York, Boston, Atlanta, Houston, Los Angeles, San Francisco, all designed by Freemason. 100% in this country. There is no exception. And then if you look, the Freemason is not actually birthed out of their will, but it is actually deeply connected before. Even the Guild of Masons and others, they are connected to the Templar Knights. They are actually connected to the Guild of Masons. They have been working in it throughout the ages via the powerful financial spheres. They've been in control of a global economy. They've been in always creating World War First, Second World War, World War I and II. They created the war. And they made the concord between the Hitler and Vatican. And they transactioned great deal of the amount of money. And every evidence we could see today, this is not conspiracy. What I can say is this is a reality. So, how the Freemasons have the Hitler to power, and the crimes of the Masonic elites and the hidden knowledge, the crimes, the criminalities and drug addiction, the drug dealings and trades. So many things are taking place around the world under these schemes. Do you see this picture? What do you see? This is Yale College, Yale University. Yale University designed by Freemason. And they created the secret societies, Skull and Bones, Bush families. The building in New Haven adopted the idea of the Freemason ideas. Every building they encrypted the secrets and mystery of their existence. So, the ancient Babylonian draconian bloodline, the many were wondering what are the connections between the mystery of the Babylonian religion and to the existence of the Freemasons and the elite group of the secret society. European royalty, we call the Merovingians, the European, the Holy Roman Empires. Here Astor bloodlines, Bundy bloodlines, Van Dyne's bloodlines, and Collins and Rockefellers, and Dufresne in France, and Onassis in Greece, and the Freeman bloodlines, and Kennedy, John F. Kennedy, the Kennedy line from Ireland, and Reynolds, and then Rothschild, and the Lee bloodlines. All these are connected into the sacred religion. The politics and religion work together in the long time. Therefore, I would say the 6 branches underneath of the Illuminati activation: banking and money, and secret society and political group, intelligent group, and religious group, and educational group. Intelligent groups such as CIA, FBI, and the KGB, and also MI6, drug cartels and Interpol and communist parties, all aligned with this Illuminati agenda. Religious group, the World Council of Churches, WCC, and NCC in each country, and Vaticans, and then the New Age cults, and Buddhist and Islamic and Hinduist groups, and the unified church movements in the world, ecumenical movements. Educational growth, it is very striking, because every public area destroy the Christian agenda, Christian virtue, so that the children will be brainwashed in the beginning. So I'm going to share with you a little bit today how they masterminded long before. Now you see that every public school in Boston area, and every school in the United States, and every school even in Korea, and the many schools around the world under these schemes. Political groups, the Bilderberg, the Trilateral Commissions, and Councils on Foreign Relations, the Club of Rome, and Aspen Institutes, and Bohemian Grove, Regional Federation, NATO, EU, and International Labor Unions, and then it's in the countries and United Nations, UN. Secret societies, you know a lot: the Freemason, Illuminati, Skull and Bones, and Grand Orient Lodge, Knight Templar, Royal Order of Gardner, Prior de Sion, and so there are many others. So I want you to pay attention on this very important one, which is called Tevista Clinic. This is actually clinic, little clinic. We call it psychological clinic, but actually this is a psychiatric clinic. Because in the time of the First World and Second World, a lot of British soldiers were wounded. They have the first trauma in their body and soul. So the psychiatrists actually diagnose on their symptoms and disease, and then they try to figure out how they can sort out their classes of disease and their trauma. So this is the Real Street portal. So here, the whole world is surprised as looking at the we call Tevista Clinic. One of the things that you have to look at is this in the beginning of their institutes in 1941. A group of psychiatrists with the Directorate of the Army Psychiatry, meaning a lot of people are under the psychiatrics, schizophrenias and others. There are so many post-traumatic effect in their bodies. So this is called the Tavistock Institute. It's like clinic. The people who have the mental disease, mental illness, they have psychiatric disease in their body and mental. And they coming in and then, and found out this is the larger picture they found out. War affect entire soldiers. Post-traumatic, effect of a lot of the soldiers who participate in the war. So Tavistock sent German-born psychologist we call the Kurt Lewin to the Massachusetts Institute of Technology, MIT, in 1945 to establish a research center for group dynamics, just right here in Boston. So this is the actually from Britain, from London to Boston. They made a center, which is called the Center of Kind of Storm at MIT, which is called the Research Center for the Group Dynamics. And then in the United States, the center at MIT in Boston moved to Michigan. But when Lewin is the founder of the social psychology in the United States. So Tavistock is actually enlarged and grow more to see larger picture of secret society are propagating. And they try to interact with the government, education, the system of economy, and trades, and all others. So therefore, the number of the researchers are actually enumerated. The center moved to the University of Michigan in 1948 as the Institute for Social Research. The name was changed. And then what happened? Here, the original clinic became part of the British National Health Service. You know, if you're living in the United Kingdom, that's the National Health Service. I was benefited by that system. Entire Great Britain used this NHS because it is called the National Health Service. Every single citizen in UK is benefited under this system. This system is actually birthed out of the TEVIC lab, the TEVIC Institute. So still is working, and this system is continually duplicating around the world. And then here, in 1946, the TEVIC Institute of the Human Relations split off the policymaking. This is another branch out, the mother of all think tanks. So modern day economic think tank, Brzezinski think tank, and foreign think tank, all this actually is birthed out of this. So it is called the policymaking, the mother of the all think tanks, publicly claiming to research in direct groups and organizations. So here, what happened? The think tank registered as charity in September in 1947 in London, in UK. And what happened? It devised and spread interdisciplinary models of group relations and training in management, in administration, and social politics. The beginning from psychiatrics, and now it's grow bigger social relations, political relations, communal relations, and governmental relations, continental relations, and they are able to see the whole world, how the whole world are operating. Whole world. When they see macroscopic view, they find out some of the secret in the whole world. So it remains, the Tavistock remains an influential intelligence organization tied to MI6, that is Central Intelligence in Britain, CIA in United States. CIA comes out of this model. Project, the paperclip German scientists, then Rockefeller Foundations, and the cryptocracies. These are actually working throughout the whole world. Korean Central Intelligence Agency comes out of this American CIA, but American CIA comes out of this Tavistock Institute. So this is not mine. When they found the whole world problem, Europe, America, Latin America, Asia, in the Pacific, all of the world, they found out the huge secret hands, secret agent, secret power, actually handling all world issues, and they are interconnected. This one is actually one of the secret explorers. And I'm going to tell you later who did this. This is an amazing story. This is not conspiracy. This is not man-made. Then when they discovered the whole world operation, they found out these are working in the whole world. The first one, order of the Illuminati on top of it, like all I sing is in the pyramid, on the top of the pyramid. They are the one brain, Illuminati. And out of the Illuminati, the house of the Rothschild, they give money to control all of the governments and society and organization, charity, and even agencies in the different kind of branches. And then they have the order of so-called skull and bones from Yale. And they created CIA, they created FBI, they created all kinds of secret agencies. And they created the war, they created all kinds of division. They also made the weaponry. They tried to make the atomic bomb and the nuclear bombs. And then under the order of the skull and bones, what happened? The House of Rockefeller have, unbelievable amount of money they have. They supported all the educational institutions throughout the world, and they created all hospitals and a laboratory. They created all kinds of the museums, and they also created all kinds of charity organizations in the United States. And underneath the Rockefeller, what happened? Mafia and others, and it actually created the Bohemian Group or Bohemian clubs and Council on Foreign Relations, 500 elite people who rule all of the world from the United States, the presidents, ambassadors, and the generals, the secret agents. And then the United Nations is under this power, UN. Royal Institute support the Department of Affairs in Britain. And the group underneath, Pravian Socialist Society, who designed for New World Order from the European side. There is always twin. American side, we have New World Order. But in British side or European side, we call Pravian Socialist Society, like Tony Blair's. And then, all others actually belong to this group. Very powerful. I don't want to miss this one. CIA, KGB, MI6, MI5, all of these under this power, but there's one control power, which is called the Illuminati. When they found out, the presidents and the secretary, and when they discussed, they found out behind of all the elite, they have some of the design, which is called Illuminati design. So one of the person who explored this secret is actually John Coleman. He established and he actually also published one of the books. He actually explored this secrecy, Tavistic Institute of Human Relations. This is the book by John Coleman. John Coleman says the former MI6 intelligence officer first explores their covert activities with his insider knowledge in the Tavistock Institute of Human Relations. This is the subtitle. This subtitle tells us secrecy. Shaping of moral, spiritual, cultural, political, economic decline of the United States of America. You'll be surprised. Then what happened? United States will be under the power of the devil's scheme. So the enemy is clearly identifiable as here, because what Illuminatis and others in the United States, from the beginning of the independence, I said that, the 13 colonies, from the beginning of the Benjamin Franklin's and, George Washington and all others, they have same ideas. In the beginning, not from today, in the beginning, enemy was at work. The enemy is clearly identifiable as the Committee of 300, the Club of Rome, the NATO, and the Black Nobility, and the Council on Foreign Relations, and all of its affiliated organizations, think tanks. There are a lot of think tanks. The Carnegie is very powerful. In Hague, Netherlands, they try to unify all of the religion in the whole world. They are gonna convene one religion in the world in June 2020. It is the greatest news to us. Satan is greatly advancing in the world right now. Your denomination cannot deny that. The church that I belong cannot deny the unifying system of the churches and Christian body. Research institute controlled by the Stanford University. And the last, certainly not least, the military establishment. World police government. World control power of military and police. So therefore here, the Coleman includes the Eastern liberal established aristocracy, its banks, insurance companies, giant corporations, petroleum cartels, foundations, communications, telecommunication and others, networks, the publishing houses, radio, television networks, ABS, CBN, CNN, all belong, Fox, New York Times, all belongs to this secret society and movie industry, particularly Hollywood. 90% Hollywood investor and filmmaker are Jewish. So the Committee of 300, how make deep connection under this idea? The Royal Institutes of the International Affairs, Tavistic Institutes of Human Relations, Club of Rome, they give tactics and policies how to govern the whole world. And then under the name of the Committee of 300, they work in different parts, Zionism, United Nations, the member nations like Britain, United States, Germany, China, or others. The kings of Saudi Arabia. And all this one we need several hours to explain. This diagram explains 100 years of secrecy. So in short sentence, if I want to say, these groups, they are scripting our wars. First World War, Second World War, Vietnam War, Korean War, and Serbia, Bosnian War, all of these. Our lives and our future. These groups, they are scripting our wars, our lives, our future. Agenda 21 in Rio de Janeiro under the name of United Nations, UN, you don't have any choice. It seems very beautiful. Sustainable development. We want to keep our ecology as green. We want to keep our economy transparent. We want to keep our politics interchangeable. We want to keep our community to be clean. We want to make it more urban rather than rural. And we want to make our society more generous towards the others in the name of the education, which is called life for eternal equality. But this life for equality is actually Satan's scheme, because there is no place of the Bible. The God is patriot God. The God is not God of mercy. So they replaced God from the Bible to God from the world. There is deep scheme behind of this. As the power behind the think tank thrones, instead of doctoring soul, the clone organization, clone is like, they continue disseminating same as like in the different names. The clone organization systematically attack it. The consensual goals of the mental health and group relations parted company. The promise became a curse. UN agenda seems beautiful. If I say this is a curse. UN agenda 301 looks so beautiful. But this is a curse. Urbanization, educational in public area, all of the economy transparency looks good because, the trading system, free trade and others look so beautiful. But in fact, behind of it, there is power of the Satan. So the emblematic structure of the Freemasonry, you see that this is the same picture that you see a while ago before. The Club of Rome, the Council on the Foreign Relations, and all others. This is 33 ranks within this class system. But what they do actually destroying all of the religion. They make the one unified religion under the name of Lucifer. So New World Order agenda is similar to the Freemasonry agenda. If you're looking at the parallel, you can see that everybody else in the bottom line, the workers, ants of the world. Ants means like you are just one of billion. Education system will be unified in the name of the equality. Entertainment industry will give us sports and sex and screen. And religious dogma will not be permitted but unified. The corporate and government owned by the news and media and government-funded scientists, the food, drugs, and GMO and healthcare industries. This is one of the reasons you have to look at the coronavirus, how it was created long before, and also Wuhan lab actually created. Today, yesterday, from Germany, from France, United Kingdom, from America, they say that this COVID-19, the coronavirus, was not naturally birthed. It was created in the lab. They indicate it. The whole world may say that. No one can deny. Why is it important for us? Why? Because the humanity of evil and wickedness unlocked the heavenly curse and judgment. I don't say that God opened up the judgment, but I would say we are the one unlocked. We are the one that unlock the power of judgment from heaven. In the ocean, in the air, in the land, in the people, in our society and community. Disease, calamities, contaminations, and corruptions, and all kind of pollution may take place. United Nations, the president and prince ministries from each continent. On top of that, the governments funded scientists. And the top military intelligence agencies, they are the ones continually, actually conduing between two, and top-level advisors and politicians, and global company, big Wall Street investors, banking like Rothschild, secret society, royal elite, and then New World Order agenda will be implemented. As like all-seeing eyes, I said, in the name of providence of God's favor, in the name of God. But that God is not our God in the Bible. That God is not the God Bible what we believe in the Christian faith. This is actually originated from Babylon and Egypt. So New World Order theory, it has numerous groups responsible for organized crime. Organized crimes in both legitimate and illegal industries, drug addicts, and from the Congress, Senate, parliaments, and assembly. Secret society, shadow governments, and the elites such as individuals with the incomparable money, power, secret protection. These programs result in such global humanitarian crisis as crossing poverty, wealth inequality. So, they say that we want to develop the developing country. We want to aid some of the countries who are under poverty. But in fact, this is very beautiful humanitarian, but it is not. Environmental devastation, they want to protect the land, nature, but it is in fact, in the name of United Nations and others, it is vice versa. And then human trafficking. UN continually drive the anti-human trafficking problem, but it continually increase more than before. Endless war. So now, New World Order agenda, not now, New World Order agenda. There are key points. Number one, New World Order agenda is maintaining a hierarchical world structure with minimum interference from the vast majority of the inferior, non-evolving races of humans. This is actually Dr. Paul Marker. Second one, this is a very important one. Control the masses. Control the billions of people around the world so that they serve the elites in their quest for higher evolution. Number three, implement mandatory public schooling to indoctrinate the young. This is very important. Implement mandatory public, mandatory. What does it mean mandatory? Compulsory, reinforcing, by power, by force, you have to do it. There is no choice in the public education. Implement mandatory public schooling to indoctrinate the young. That's why Agenda 21 already made this long before in 1992. Reduce the population, which means depopulating. Reduce the population of useless eaters. Useless eaters means, you just simply received compensation and social security compensation. Useless eaters through the war. Number 1, war. Number 2, starvation. Number 3, what? Disease. Diseases includes virus. That's why we call virus war. This is very intentional. This is well designed. This is well planned. Number 5, surface scientific development. And then I want to kick in. To weaken and demoralize the masses through the unemployment and poverty, undermining and destroying the family units and constant crisis. This is actually MI6 secret agents. While I show you the one of the Tavistock institutes, exposed. This is Dr. John Coleman actually indicate that. So United Nations New World Order agenda are identifiable. So Agenda 2030, so we just 10 years behind. And so this 10 years behind agenda is actually transform our world so that we are able to have New World Order. But in each society branches, there are all kinds of programs which is called sustainable development. In education, in film industry, in government, in healthcare, in the urban design, and even the societal levels, everywhere, there is the very detailed, the sustainable developments are enacting in our society. Every city in the whole world. United Nations divides 10 regional groupings. If you're looking at this is already prophesied from the Bible. 10 regional groupings. So I'm going to tell you later, but this is in very detail. And Millennium Development Goal for 2009. 1,000-year reign of Rushipra's kingdom. And Declaration of Friendship across the religion, which means unified all of the religion, including Catholics and Orthodox and Protestants and all other religions, including Islam and Hinduism and Buddhist. So globalization of the New World Order is actually after the Berlin Wall fell in 1989, the world community or international community were created. So this one is not by accident. Actually, David Rockefeller said that a global crisis would have to occur before the world would be willing to accept a new world order. What do you mean? Coronavirus era must be taking place. Otherwise, more than World War II, more than World War I, there must be bigger in order to shifting the system of the world, in order to also change the whole government system of the world. Something must be done. He said global crisis must take place in order to create New World Order. David Rockefeller says that. Dramatic downward plunge in 2008, world leaders again, they proclaimed the needs for the New World Order with global economic structures. This is already done 12 years ago. So the globalization, the process of the transitioning the world into global governments, the Commission for Global Governance, created by the United Nations and released a report, our global neighborhood, which affirms the world court. So there will be one international court. It is positioned and housed in Hague, Netherlands. There will be one unified international court. And then the global tax. And then there will be global police force that may be created. United States Department Publication 7277 set forth one world police force under the United Nations. I have to say a lot, but I want to skip the time. And creating the international law as the law of the international governments. The world courts, it is referring to the law of the world government system. World Bank, World Trade Organization, World Health Organization, all others under these schemes. So Dr. Adams Weishaupt, the creator, the idea man of the Illuminati and Freemason into the New World Order, he is the one actually masterminded and founded the Illuminati on May 1st in 1776, same year of the American independence. and planned and produced, he made the blueprint for the French Revolution. He also masterminded the American Revolution. And Illuminati is to preserve and promote the ancient black arts of the Babylonian Druid witchcraft. And its goals are destroy the Christianity. The first goal is to destroy the Christianity. But the Christianity is two ways. One is actually destroy the evangelical Christianity. If they are fake Christians, they will unify with one religion. If you're fake Christian, they are not going to target you. But if you're true believers, they want to eliminate you from their societies. So their goal is to destroy the Christianity and all world government and set up the all world government, then unite them under one world government whose ruler is Lucifer, Satan. Secret societies such as like the Illuminati, Freemasons, and all others, communism, Soviet Union before, there are a lot, 1970 Bolshevik revolution. Last week I explained, they funded, they made spy, they contributed money, and they made the communist country in the world. International banking, Christian funds are used for New World Order. So New Age movements, this is very, very important. Because modern day pop culture, music, contemporary music, all of the sexual industries, all of this actually coming out of the New Age movements. New Age, we call New Age globalism. Globalization is different from the globalism. Globalism created under the name of the United Nations in order to connect every continent to be unified. Implementation of one world government is called globalism. Under United Nations, New Age globalism is actually New World Order tactics. The United Nations were founded upon a well-thought-out policy of globalism. United Nations actually, out of the globalism, this would require us to submit to decrees of United Nations, General Assembly as law. Globalism has been a growing trend since 1973, when many famous, influential people signed the Humanist Manifesto. Humanist Manifesto is Dietrich, the minister, the pastor, Reverend Dietrich, actually declare we ministers in the Christian church, Unitarian, Congregational, Universal Church, they united and they declare that we are no longer believing in the Bible God. Christ is not the Messiah. But we are going to accept the Muhammad. We are going to accept the Buddhist. We are going to accept the Hinduist. We are going to accept all of the religion except the Christian God. That's their manifesto. They create the human religion. Boston is the headquarters of this. That's why our battle, our warfare is not easy. Whenever I travel in Muslim country, I feel easier. But when I come to Boston, I feel so heavy. Every satanic scheme, every satanic design, every satanic mastermind are deeply deposited in this city, not to allow any Christian movements, even tiny prayer movements. Through academia, intelligence, through technology, through Freemason idea, and then coming out of Boston, the President of the United States, world rulers and kings in different countries are working as global leaders. Boston is the birthplace of humanism manifestation, so-called Humanist Manifesto. In my book, The Rise of Global Society, I explain about this. This is not done by 1 century. This is almost 300 years of endeavor in order to destroy the genuine Christian. But we Christians are not ready. We know how to cry out in the name of the Lord, but we are not ready to fight the good fight. Why? And that's why I'm saying that our heart must be filled with the Holy Spirit, but our mind, our brain must be very accurate and acute and smart in order to destroy the schemes of Satan. So New Age movement is to reinforce the America to go along with the global plan of the New World Order. And New World Order plan in the United States. James Warsberg, the author of the book, The West in Crisis. This is a very amazing book. On February 19, 1950, Warsberg also told the Senate committee how the peoples of the world will receive this world government. He said, we shall have world government whether you like it or not. If not by consent, but by conquest. But by power. If you don't want world government, it is not your choice. It is not your option. This is our law. This is our constitution. This is our power. This is our authority. In 1950, United States lady agreed from the Senate and Congress. I have tons of stories how Satan made this country to be anti-God a lot. Ralph Emerson, I'm sorry when I type right, oh my goodness. Ralph Emerson, M.M., sorry, Emerson. When I type right, I have a lot, today I found 4 mistakes in my PowerPoint. Please forgive me. Ralph Emerson says, in addition to destroying man's basic loyalties to family, nation, and religion, the nation must be conditioned to the belief that less is better than more. The less is better than more. In the quantity of the population, in the quantity of the masses, in the quantity of the eaters, useless eaters. The standard of living of those in affluent nations must be reduced. So, a poor country, useless country must be what? Reduced. This will be done by a slow, gradual process of conditioning the citizens of the rich nations to survive. Citizens of rich nations to survive on less than they produce. So, in other words, like African countries, like China, like India, Central Asia, they must be reduced. Instead, what? European countries, America, must be kept in good numbers. The plan, John Knowles, he is also right wing of this Rockefeller Foundation, and he is also the founder of the Rockefeller Foundation. I'm sure of only one thing: more is not necessarily better. Because it's more is not necessarily better. Central to new ethnic of making less more is controlled economic growth, which conserves scarce resources, provides more equitable distribution of incomes and wealth. So, the basic idea is reduce the population. Because we are too many. Reduce population in the poor country, reduce population under the name of the United Nations Sustainable Project, Development Program, all others. The New World Order is actually creating the world courts, world police, world central bank, world treasury. I can say world treasury now, 99% is accomplished. You will see, because of the COVID-19, how American governments provide you unemployment compensation, looking into by eyes of the Lord. Please. An Economic Security Council, World Trade and Production Organization, global taxation. These are the orders of the New World Order. United Nations goal with a massive extermination such as forced abortion. Abortion is legal now. 100 years ago, it was legal. In 1950, it was illegal. But it became legalized. Planned family. They don't want to produce the children. And biological warfares. So I'm going to conclude. This lady is Alice and Bailey. Any of you knows this lady? Anybody? If you know, just mute your screen and say, this lady, please remember, this one is from the Satan. This lady is smiling. This lady is masterminded by devilish idea. Alice Ann Bailey. She is a British born. She came from England to the United States. But this is most influential to our society. I can explain how the homosexuality movement began in Boston by this lady. I can explain the public education, so-called comprehensive sexuality education, birthed out of this lady. So many things. So COVID-19, before COVID-19, you are not able to find. Because the COVID-19 now, a lot of things are no longer underneath of surface. It comes out of the surface right now. You can see the Satan scheme all over the world. What this lady said long ago, 60, 70 years ago, now is already in fruition. So here, she often known as Alice Bailey. She was born in Britain in 1880, Manchester, England. She died in 1949 in the United States. She's a writer, lecturer on neo-theosophy. Theosophy means like one who worshiping occult, magics and the Oriental religion through seeing dreams and vision. And they're worshiping different gods and goddesses. Babylonian gods, Egyptian gods. Mostly they used hallucinations and dreams and visions and all others. She was born in England in 1880, moved to America in 1907, where she perfected her art. She was the high priestess and prophetess of the New Age movement. She was a prolific author. This is the book she made the Alice Bailey Inheritance. Alice Ann Bailey is very famous because, she actually created the very important occult religions we call occultism, founded in an international historic movement, so-called mystic religion. And she also founded a publishing company called Lucifer Trust. Lucifer Trust. She created also Society of Lucifer. She said American people should worship Lucifer. That's why the name of the publishing company is Lucifer Trust, which was later changed Lucis Trust. Still today, if you type out, and you can find out Lucis Trust. Very big. Address is 120 Wall Street in New York. So she gives 10 points. 60 or 70 years ago, now everywhere in the world, you can see 10 points. Are they really doing in our community, government, economy, public education, family, transportation, urban planning, and local government? Everywhere, even in religion. Number one, she said, take God and pray out of education system. Take God and prayer out of education system. America, from the Puritan Foundation, even from the American independence, this country has done more than 350 years, 3 times a day prayer, and also every class begin by prayer, and every school has chaplain. They read Bible every in the morning. All students with the masters, school masters, pray first and read Bible in devotion. But she said, we have to eliminate this from America. This greatest battle begun by this lady, the prophetess from occult religion, theosophy. And she said that, how do you do? Change curriculum in the school to ensure that children are freed from the bondage of Christian culture. Because children go to school to be equipped to face life, they are willing to trust and they are willing to value what is being given to them. So take out all the truth from the Bible and the name of the Lord. If you take God out of education, they will unconsciously form a reserve that God is not necessary to face life. And then this one is actually we call today pro-life campaign. Gay, lesbian society use pro-life. This is actually, she said that long ago. They will focus on those things the school counts. School count them worthy to be passed on. They will look at God as an additional if one can afford the additional. So this means like, if you eliminate the God and then, I need Christian God, we'll add it. But mostly public education, there is no place of God. There is no Bible reading. There is no chaplain. There is no public prayer. There is no the Lord's Prayer. In the Supreme Court, but first one beginning from education. Reduce parental authority over children. She said that to break the communication between parent and child. Why? She said, so that parents do not pass on the Christian traditions to their children. Liberate children from bondage of their parent traditions. Promote excessive child rights. Because child doesn't know how to choose. They don't know what is the conscience. But she said that teachers cannot talk children. Children step up and say, I have my right. You cannot talk to me like that. Today we see every school in Boston, the homosexuality, sexual intercourse, even sexual intercourse with the animal are being taught in the school. This is what I have my right. How? She said, promote excessive child right. This is actually, in 1992, South Africa introduced child right legislation. And the UNICEF charter, today a child is able to say to parent, I don't want to hear that. If parents will say, let's read Bible, I don't want to read Bible. I don't want to do what you are telling me. If parents say, let's go to church, I don't want to go to church. Because they have right. This is what United Nations actually made it. Agenda 21. And the whole of the world is doing same thing. So teachers cannot talk children. Children step up, say, I have my right, you cannot talk to me, a while ago. This is already ongoing. Therefore, what happened? Abolish corporal punishment. This has been made law. Parents cannot spank in the name of education. And the Bible said, do not withhold correction from a child. For if you beat him with a rod, if you spank him, he will not die. You shall beat him with a rod and deliver his soul from hell. So many young generation are going astray because no correction, no rebuke, only love. But the love is one side. We need a correction. Proverbs 23:13-14. Number 3, destroy Judeo-Christian structure or traditional Christian family structures. Promote sexual promiscuity. This is actually not only the gay, lesbian, homosexuality, sometimes transgender and queer, but they try to actually promote the sexual promiscuity, means like, all kind of unbiblical activity they promote. U.S. advertising industry such as here, media, television, magazine, film industry to promote sexual enjoyment as highest pleasure and entertainment in humanity. Number 4, if sex is free, then make abortion legal. So abortion is encouraged. Make it easy. Make divorce easy, legal. Can you imagine 50 years ago, more than 90% of global countries prohibiting divorce. But nowadays, it's common. The free people from the concept of marriage for life. Make homosexuality an alternative lifestyle. Debase arts, make it run mad. Hollywood deception. So film industries. So I want to finish soon in 1 minute. Use media to promote and change mindset. Create an interfaith movement. Make one religion. God is God of love. Whatever you do, God will save you. This is the agenda. Whatever you believe in different religion, God will save you. So therefore here, the word said, promote other faiths to be the part with Christianity, Apart from, sorry, my typewriter is mistaken. To be apart from the Christianity, break these things about Christianity as being the only way to heaven. By that, Christianity will be pulled down and other faith promoted. So, Alice Bailey said, promote importance of man in determining his own future and destiny, not God. Who is the center? Humanism. Tell man he has a right to choose what he wants to be. He can make it happen. He has a right to determine his course. So, and here the Alice Bailey wrote, the church must be changed in doctrine, accommodate the people by accepting that these things put them into structure and system ecumenism. With the Catholics, Hinduism, Islam, other religion all together. Last one, get governments to make all these law and get the church to endorse these changes. What does it mean? Harlot church system. Church are the one welcoming lesbian, gay. Church are the one welcoming abortion. Church are the one welcoming one new world order. Brethren, we are living right now in COVID-19 by the strategy of New World Order to fulfill its ultimate goal to establish one world government, one world economic system, one world religion. Next week, I will explain about how Vatican, the Catholic Church, the Catholicism, and also the Hague, as we call the new religious movements, is about to take in our place. Thank you so much. And I hope I can take some of the questions from you and then answer you, and then Pastor Joshua Park will lead us in prayer. So thank you so much. So many people around the world, from Korea, from Canada, from all of the states in the United States joining. Thank you so much. Sometimes my pronunciation is not good. Sometimes, I just quickly doing. If you have any question, and then yes, just let me have this answer to you.
Yes, so if you have any questions for this lecture, you're welcome to ask. And also, if you want to speak familiar with the crowd, 한국말로 하시기 원하시는 분들도 혹시라도 이 렉처를 들으시면서 물론 영어로 다 하셨기 때문에 한국어만 편하신 분 어떨지 모르겠지만 혹시라도 질문 있으시면 한국어로도 괜찮습니다. 제가 질문을 하시면 영어나 한국말로 제가 해드릴 수 있으니까 한번 질문 있으신 분들. So if anyone has any question regarding the lecture here, so you may want to do that right now. So we may take about 10 to 15 minutes for this question and answer time.
Yes. Yes, so many people. 진혜경 목사님도 들어와 있군요. 할렐루야. Caroline, I think you wrote something.
No.
No, I wrote something to Joshua earlier.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Do you have anything to share?
No. I'm going to buy your book.
I will give you as a gift. Yes, Suji, why don't you speak, what you said in the questioning so that everyone can hear, and then I'm going to answer. Thank you.
Yeah, sure. I would like Miss Bailey wrote a book, and I would like to know how her agenda to implement and apply it to the U.S. system. Was she influential figure in Freemason, or was there a group of people or group of school that followed her?
She was one of the most influential people in the United States in the area of the public education, governments, and the corporate, and the sports, the film industries, and also, the religious organizations such as occult, and then the homosexual movements, modern day we have. So mostly what she said, she was very influential to promote. She created the Lobby Association, Teacher Association, others, Occult and Magicians Association in the United States. She was a very influential person. If you know that, it's like I said, many things were before unseen, but unseen is seen now because of COVID-19. Because, even though some of the people were looking for and search those secrecy, only a handful of people understand. But nowadays, because of COVID-19, a lot of things are seen in our eyes. Because homosexuality movements is not actually birthed. What they say, the pro-life and all others, is borrowed and rendered from Alice Bailey. Very identical. And also, those people, gay, lesbian activists and others, when they say, the most frequent quotation person is Alice Bailey. It's surprising. New World Order government propagandists, they say always Alice Bailey. Freemason, they say always Alice Bailey. You can hear very often. We Christians don't know. Enemy is preparing, but we don't know who enemy is. She's a very powerful person. Please, take a time to look on a book and research. You'll find more truth about it. Thank you for your question.
Thank you.
So my pleasure. Yes. Any question? Yes.
I think from iPhone, the 617, she asked us that is everything you shared in your book. So I think they were a little confused that you wrote a book or something.
No, not all. But we call the Humanist Manifesto 2 in my book, American history, the secularism history, how America was founded in both sides. One is the Puritan faith, on the other side, Freemason. So I wrote that book in my chapter, very thick. So the Harvard, Yale, all others, how Satan actually masterminded and made. It's a partial. It's a portion of the book tells about some portion that we call Humanist Manifesto, number 1 and number 2, but not all about. I wish I could write book if you pray for me. I just want to make that book too. Thank you. So any question, if you want to raise any question in Korean or English, so I hope that I can answer. If not, but out of this one, many of you didn't listen and hear from me in the previous 5 sessions, but I can add it a little more for your understanding if you want to hear. Yes.
Actually, I have one more question.
Sure.
So you mentioned also Korean War was designed by Illuminati.
Yes.
During your lecture.
Yes.
So could you explain more about that?
Yeah, because of the original idea was Illuminati, which whose organization funded the French Revolution and also Bolshevik revolutions. So they want to create 2 wings. One is the liberate from Christian idea by French Revolution. One other idea is creating the communism, make split from Christian kingdom, we call Christendom. So the Communist Party actually made 2 blocks, so-called the détente. And then 2 world powers, the Soviet Union and United States, agreed upon that idea. So it is not the willfulness of the Korean people. Korean people didn't want that. But, Soviet Union backed up the Kim Il-sung. And the United States and other people, along with the United Nations, backs up the South Korea. So this is actually designed by Illuminati long before. Because they are the one created communist country. There are 100 ideas. So they want to divide because they want to manipulate the world by war. Vietnam War, Korean War. So there are a lot of stories. Even Stalin confessed a lot of this. And then Harry Truman confessed he's the Freemason too. Truman, the very Christian Methodist, yet he's also a Freemason. So he confessed a lot. So we have to study about it. Sometimes you admire him, oh, Truman is good. Of course, I know he's a very beautiful believer. On the other hand, there's dark side. So we have to be very careful about it. Yes. So if you don't have any question, and then yes, sure.
I want to know how the Illuminati is became the seal of the United States, because you said that it was designed by the Masons, but how did it become the seal of the United States?
Illuminati and the Freemason, sometimes you will be very perplexed by two different names. Sometimes you can see the Bohemian Group, sometimes the Council on Foreign Relations and others. There are many other institutions. We call cloning the organization, meaning from the same idea, but we make, if this is more political, we create like a Freemason. If this is more like a religious, Illuminati, because Illuminati closely working with the Vatican. So it depends on how you have works and connection of the ranges. So Illuminati is more likely including religious and political and economic. Freemason is more likely social and business and education. So they have different areas, but the idea is same. Idea is same. So United States, mostly the leaders and in the business sectors and the religious sectors and even the political sectors, mostly they have the like Illuminati and Freemason ideas. They been always in secret education, like Skull and Bone in Yale. Harvard, we have secret society. I believe they have all secret societies. They are the one who create the CIA, FBI. They are the one who created the naval power, and all of those. So secret was hidden long before, but nowadays, because someone came out of that organization, expose and tell the truth, now we know. So there are deep connections. But sometimes most of organizations overlapping in borderlines. So sometimes they do the same things. But others, they have more like a focused area. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, so thank you so much, you guys, and we are going to finish up the. Yes.
목사님,
Yes.
한국어로 할게요.
네.
이런 강의를 들으면 되게 역사 속에 깊이 들어와 있는 그 아주 긴 역사와 아주 깊은 역사 속에 그 사탄의 계획 또 진행형인 것들을 들으면 사실은 개인으로서 되게 무기력한 느낌도 들고 너무나 커다랗고 크고 깊은 그런 현실 속에서 내가 할 수 있는 일이 있을까라는 생각도 들어서 사실은 이런 강의를 피하고 싶은 마음이 사실은 더 많은 것 같아요. 제 마음속에는. 그래서 그래도 이런 현실 속에서 한 개인인 제가 또 크리스찬인 한 사람이 해야 하고 또 어떻게 일어서야 하는지에 대한 이야기도 좀 해주셨으면 좋겠어요.
Yes, would you interpret?
Yeah.
And then I'm going to explain. Yes.
So that's a really wonderful question. So basically, that she asked that throughout the history there's so much of schemes of Satan, and as we study, what she says, that she felt like so apathy. So like we can there's nothing she can do. So question is, what can we do? As a normal, just the individual Christian. And as an individual Christian, now that as we see all these things, what is my role and what is my the things that we can do in this time of the dark age? A lot of things are happening in this world.
Yeah, it is better for me to speak in English because some of them understand. Also, you can understand, although you express it in Korean. I am very grateful to your question. This is a very beautiful question and very amazing question to me. So I'm going to explain about the story of Daniel in the book of chapter 12. When Daniel saw what's going to happen in the last days, all this, he is able to see, the last day things, happening in the government sectors and political sectors and business sectors and the ethnic sectors and all those. And, he knows that the time will be in turmoil. There will be abomination, desolation may occur in the city of Jerusalem. He knows that the people will revenge against the Christ, the Messiah. He knows all those things. But in chapter 12, one who's standing in the river, in the middle of the river, wearing the white robes and, indicating Jesus Christ. And he said that, Daniel, please unseal this scroll. The seal this scroll, not unseal. The seal this scroll. 이거를 임봉하라. So this seal this scroll. What I said to you. But in the end, in the time of the end, last days, you are gonna see all these gonna happen. And then what the Lord says that only wise will understand. That means not many people in the last day may understand what's happening. Although last day is happening, they don't understand what's going on. The Lord says to Daniel, what you see, you don't understand. What you hear, you don't hear. What I said, you don't understand me. Same thing happening. The COVID-19 is happening, the people don't understand. The United Nations is working, you don't understand what's going on. And so many things happening around the world. We are blinded, we are muted, we are totally blinded in our mind. So we have to know. And then what happened? It's like you say that, the huge, we are going to fight the devil in general. We are not going to fight against the United Nations scheme. We are not going to fight the New World Order. But we are going to win first what? My soul first. Purify our soul, awaken our soul, and pray in the Lord. Number 2, win my family. 내 가정을 먼저 살리는 거죠. So let my family pray together. Number 3, let my neighborhood. It begins from me. Everything begins from me. It's not from far beyond. We don't need to work in the government. We don't need to work in every area. But from my family, from myself, from my husband and my children, we can begin in prayer and sanctification, purification, and also live a holy life. Secondly, why people are not awakened? Because the people don't know. People don't have the ear. The people don't have any understanding. I said the time is actually happening, what we can see, but the people don't see. We need education right now. This is a time we have to know. If you don't listen, you will never know. If you don't have this session, you will never know. And you will be completely blinded. You may not recognize something happening under the power of Satan. But once you hear, you can discern, you can distinguish, you may understand, you can overcome. This is the reason I want to ask you to be awakened. Don't be frightened. Don't have fear about the Satan, but fear of the Lord. So that we can tremble before the Lord. We can come before the Lord. Don't be dissatisfied. Don't be disappointed. Because as you know, you have power of boldness to come to the Lord. Thank you, Jesus. Thank you so much.